All right, this is going to be a live feeds update for February 9th, 2018 for Celebrity Big Brother. I'm going to give some little speculations on some things as we go along because last night the feeds were kind of in and out on everything. I tried to watch on my computer, I tried to watch on my Roku, I tried to watch on my phone, and everything was kind of like very not holding. And it would, when it would come back on, it would be like 10 minutes in the past at least. And like, so I finally gave up because it kept, like, it got to the point where they were having a conversation on the patio, and it kept, like, it wouldn't even get through where I had already seen before it cut and go back further. And so I finally gave up, but I did pick up some things, such as an interesting conversation between Ross and James, where James is doing his due diligence of trying to gather votes. And he's trying, from what I could tell, to infiltrate the Women's Alliance a little bit by wanting to do a Final Four with Ross, Shannon, and himself, and then a person to be decided later. Marissa was somebody that was brought up as a possibility to be in that spot, but it wasn't for sure. He was kind of wanting Ross to pick that other person, I guess, because he was picking Shannon. I have not seen any other conversations with James, so I don't know what would make him think that Shannon would do this. But the way that they were talking is they wanted to form this alliance that was leaving Omarosa, Keisha, and somebody else out on the outs. And those were going to be the people, I guess, they were going to go after first. And Ross seemed like he was listening, but at first I was like, oh, he's humoring James. This is going straight back to the Alliance. But then I saw a conversation later where Ross was talking with Marissa, and he brings up the possibility of this alliance. Marissa kind of shoots it down, but at that moment I'm kind of like, is Ross considering this? Is Ross considering working with James? Because I really do think that James and Shannon and Ross and this other person could really be good. Because Ross knows the game, Shannon knows the game. We know Shannon can beast, James is a beast, and then this other person could be, beneficial to the group somehow, such as Marissa, maybe. And they could go far, because I think the group of 7 is ridiculous, especially when there's only 11 people in the house. A group of 7, yeah. And so it made me wonder if Ross is actually considering this. Well, now we've got a conversation today, and this is all I saw of the live feeds, and it kept going to "we'll be right back," and I finally was just like, okay, I'm finished. But the women and Ross were up in the HOH room, and there was a pretty big blow up between Omarosa and Brandy. Brandy accused Omarosa of having a conversation. I thought it was with James, but maybe it was with Chuck in the corner of the kitchen or something. And Omarosa took a huge problem with this, felt like she was planting seeds of doubt in people's minds of where Omarosa stood. Omarosa was calling Brandy shady. Brandy was confused. This went back and forth for quite a while. And at one point, Omarosa got, real snarky with Ross. I mean, something about the look on his face and this and that. I mean, Omarosa was looking like a real bitch, to put it frankly. This is for one time and one time only that I felt like Brandy wasn't looking bad. Now, am I going to say Brandy was in the right? No, you don't call out your alliance members amongst your other alliance members and put doubt in their head. This is what you do in the private. This is where you have those private conversations where you pull Ross into a room by yourselves and be like, I saw Omarosa talking to Chuck and blah, 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 blah. That's when you do that stuff, not in group meetings. Okay, so, but Omarosa's reaction to this, I felt, made her look bad. How, this whole, continuation of I am a moral person, and you don't call my morality into question. You don't call my how honest I am into question. You don't call my virtue into question. Blah 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 blah, and all this, and then to go off on Ross, poor Ross, who was just sitting there. Ross didn't say anything, and he even said it when Omarosa started going after him. He's like, I'm just sitting here listening. I mean, and it calmed down, and people went into their own kind of group conversation, addressing some other things, but there was a couple times where it's just looking like this alliance is not going to stay together. Brandy even said it later that if we can get to the point of having the 7, and Keisha kind of, there was a point where the deal about the women sticking together and blah blah blah, they were asking if Ross minded it, and he said, no, I think it's important for women to be seen as being able to stick together and do something, but to say it in front of me to my face, he's like, I find that does bother me a little. And Marissa goes into this thing of like, well, just to let you know, Ross, if I evict you, it's not going to be because you're a man, it's going to be because you're an asshole, or you wore your green sweater again, or blah, 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 blah. She's trying to be funny, and for some reason this bothered Keisha, because they said that they weren't going to vote people out because they're a bitch or something like that. And I'm like, then what are you going to vote them out for? Why are you going to vote them out? I mean, seriously, if it's not because of that they're annoying you, or they did this or they did that, what are you going to vote them out for? So once and this seemed to be kind of a big deal, and for a little bit, and then that got dropped. They were like, we'll come back to that when it matters, or something to that effect. Then so it just looks like this alliance is not going to last. It's barely a week into this, and not even a full week, and they're already kind of at each other's throats. The other big thing that I noticed was it seems that James's fate is sealed, and he's going home. They're saying that James is saying that there's side deals and this and that, and they're like, "Oh, he's just saying this because he's trying to save his butt." But Keisha brought up when the whole thing with Brandy happened, where they addressed that and everything, but that Chuck and Mark were out there, and they were kind of saying the same thing, that there's these side deals and stuff. And she's like, and I tried to keep a straight face and stuff like that. But in all this, which to me, if James is saying it, Mark is saying it, Chuck is saying it, and I've seen attempts at side deals being made, whether they go through or not, makes me tend to think that there's some side deals being made. So, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if James goes home tonight. I hope he doesn't, because I'm kind of liking James. But I don't want to see Chuck go either, because I still want to see something out of him. But somebody's got to go home, and if I had my ruthers, even though Chuck was in my final four, I kind of want James to stay. So, there you have it, live feed updates from what I saw. Peace. I'm out.